Good evening, Stefan. How are you?
Good evening, Holly. I'm all right, thank you.
Good. Right. So this is about the earliest we've started a post-match podcast in a while because
Easily.
neither of us made it to Zurich.
No. Far
Was the
too
game
quick to
actually?
turn around.
The game wasn't actually in Zurich, was it?
No, it was in St Gallen
Gallen.
because
Right.
there was a Diamond League athletics event
Athletics.
that was already kind of booked and clashed, so they moved to St Gallen, which is about an hour away, I think.
Okay. So so we didn't make it. I didn't even make it for the first half. Work commitments prevented me from getting in front of the TV, and then when I did get in front of the TV, there were far too many distractions for me to have much of a clue what was going on. So first half, I've got the team selection, and do you know what? We called it pretty closely. We were struggling for a Martinelli replacement.
And he's obviously not going to go for someone who's properly in the academy. So
I was a little bit just on Martinelli. He played the full match, didn't he?
Didn't even come off. No.
Yeah, so that I was a little bit Well, so Turner in goal. Yes, we said that. Tomiyasu and Tierney, the two fullbacks. We said Holding in the middle, and we knew that one of the others had to play at centre back. I think there was an argument to play Cedric at right back and Tomiyasu in centre back, but Cedric obviously has an injury, so he didn't travel. And then Lokonga, Xhaka in the middle, Vieira in front of those, and Marquinhos, Nketiah, and Martinelli. Right, take it away. First half, I didn't see any of it.
Well, it was divided into moments, really. First 10 minutes was absolutely appalling. We kept misplacing passes. There was a poor pass back from Gabriel that Turner had lost possession. They then had a shot which was given as a corner, but I think it hit the outside of the post. I mean, it really was quite shambolic, and it took a while for us to really settle down.
Is that just too many changes and that fluency was lost, obviously?
Well, I mean, you don't know, and they are trying out, they're trying out slightly different things. Tierney is being encouraged to fulfill that fullback stepping into midfield role, which might be a little bit unfamiliar to him. It was a couple of his passes that I distinctly remember going awry. But yeah, it did.
Another mistake from Gabriel.
Yes, and that's the thing. When you said about we knew it would be one of Gabriel and it would be Holding and one other centre back. I think the argument was there for Gabriel because his form hasn't been amazing, and so it might be a way to boost his confidence. I think it might have gone the other way. Actually, he was very shaky at the start. You know, the weight of passing wasn't quite there. Just looked a bit nervy. Holding was okay, but again, over the course of the game, probably showed why he's in reserve and is a squad player.
Just on the Holding thing, he made a couple of iffy tackles right at the end. There was one, and they did a VAR check for a potential penalty, like in the 85th minute. And when I saw the replay, I thought,
but I think that was Odegaard.
Oh no, sorry, no, it wasn't. It was Holding, but it was offside. It wouldn't have.
Yeah, so that first 10 minutes, you were thinking, what on earth? However, as with the pattern of most of the game, we settled down. We started knitting some passes together. They eventually dropped into a deeper sort of defense, and we began to dominate. However, I feel coming away from it is, we played well on the whole, but again, we've got to be more ruthless in front of goal. We've got to put games to bed. We can't go into the last 10, even 5 minutes, with it in the balance, because
we'll get caught out.
We're a bit shaky at times, those familiar traits. And again, the commentator was right. It's a young team, and that European nous will have to be learned by a lot of the players. But overall, the first half then started to go well. Wonderful goal to put us ahead. And then I heard.
I haven't seen the goal. I must Google it, but I heard it was a good play from Vieira,
Mm.
out wide to Nketiah, good cross, and Marquinhos with a fantastic finish.
I mean, that kind of sums it up. But we've cleared it from defence. The ball's gone to Vieira. His touch and turn meant that the pressing players from Zurich were never going to get near him. The commentator said he was like pressure resistant at that point.
Okay, so you sent me that message to say pretty much that. And I must admit, my first response was to wince a little bit. Because do you know what I thought? I thought Jack Wilshere. And I thought he's going to invite the tackles, and that's going to be his undoing. I don't know how did he match up to the
that makes it seem a little bit more on the edge than it actually was, because his touch, his turn, and then his pass to Nketiah was almost like weight perfect, and that was it. He completely bypassed any press they were doing, so there wasn't a particular tackle flying in. He was just canny, and his touch was good.
Yeah, he's certainly the Manchester United 15 minutes, and this game seems.
Early doors for internet to go down at Holly's End. Oh, we've lost him already. Well, the thing I was going to get onto next was the penalty. It's soft. It's late in the half. It's just a bit dumb from Nketiah, that's all. He's gone up to try and kick the ball when the Zurich player's goal side. It's clumsy. It's a penalty. And their centre-back, I believe, put it away really well. What was encouraging was the commentator talking about Turner's record in saving penalties in the US, but also in penalty shootouts. So he didn't get near this one. He went the wrong way, but fingers crossed he can save one or two in the future. Well, Holly's now disappeared from the screen, so hopefully he's going to reconnect in a second. But yeah, that was just a bit of a downer on the end of the first half, which otherwise we had dominated. Hadn't created a huge amount of chances, but we were dominant. We controlled possession and managed the game quite well until right at the end. Hello.
Hello. For those of you listening, I got knocked off my Wi-Fi once again, so I agree with everything Stefan just said.
So I talked about the end of her first half when Nketiah gave away the penalty.
Right.
It's a clumsy penalty. He's tried to hook it away, and the Zurich defenders got in front of him. What time did you start watching the game?
Half time.
Oh,
so
right.
Start of the second half. Watched it, and to be fair, start of the second half was slow, but no danger at our end, but no incision in their penalty box. And then, I mean, out of nothing really, Marquinhos put in quite a delightful cross, inviting, and Nketiah did well with the header. Like that header, you have to either do one of two things: head it back across
goal, one imagines he was about to say, so that someone can maybe get on the end of it, keeper parries it away, or head it low to the near post. Yeah, and which is exactly what it did. Keeper nearly got it out, but it crept in and put us ahead. Slightly disagree with Holly. There was a moment when it was slow at the start of the second half, but I thought the intensity after that was better in the sense that we were pulling the trigger more. Even if it meant shooting from distance or popping in one cross where we might have held back, and that just allowed us to draw Zurich out of it. If they were expecting a shot, they would come and close, and that would open up the space for someone else. And so we were able to camp out essentially in their half and in their penalty box, which allowed us to really press home our advantage. The disappointing thing was how stretched it became later on. When changes were made to try and get that third and it didn't come off, felt we could have been a little bit cannier at the end of the game. I'm particularly angry by a moment where Xhaka receives the ball I think in injury time, or certainly near injury time. And instead of running it into the corner, wasting that minute or two that he could, he pops it in the box and crosses it. When actually, I'm not sure that was the right call, because immediately Zurich break and go up the other end, and it was described by the commentator as being a bit more like a basketball match then, and that's the last thing you want to do when you're ahead in a European tie. Hello. I was just summarising the second half a bit more. So we can probably call it a day. 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, a good job. Well done, mate. Well done. Again, I concur with everything you've just said.
Well, funnily enough, I was saying I disagreed slightly. There was a moment at the start of the second half which was a bit slower, but I felt once we re-established, that we were going to control possession, I felt we were a bit more trigger happy nearer the goal. We were certainly pulling the trigger more, putting in crosses more, and trying to draw Zurich out to those moments and try and create space. We were a bit more proactive in trying to carve out the chances, even if they were half chances or whatever. So there was a bit more intensity to our attack. But then I finished by talking about how it became so open at the end, and I was really not settled with that. I thought it was a bit kamikaze.
Yeah, I mean, again, he made a triple substitution, but that's not a bad three to bring on, though, is it?
It's not, but at
it
the
wasn't
same
necessary.
Time,
it wasn't necessary.
No, messaging with someone, I sort of said, do we want to be making 3 subs at once after Sunday? And their argument was, well, the 3 players coming in are a bit more used to the system. They've been playing regular football. Maybe they can pick it up straight away. However, with the weekend in mind, they're probably not the 3 that I'd want to be bringing on, because you don't want to risk too much.
No, you don't want to hand more impetus to the opposition either. And Zinchenko and Erdegaard, certainly, they should offer you more control of the ball in the game.
Not sure they did.
Tierney didn't look too pleased coming off, did he?
No.
It's an interesting one.
I can't tell if that's just about giving Zinchenko more game time, or trying to protect Tierney because of his injury record. Either way, I'm not totally against it. He got 60, 65 minutes?
Yeah, 65. But then Zinchenko, obviously coming back from a little bit of a minor knock himself, was it necessary to? I mean, it depends. We don't know what state Tierney was in. He might have been feeling a little knock or something. You don't know, but so that it's a win. We said
a win's a win in Europe, absolutely.
Yeah, and we said we wanted to start the group strong, secure the top spot as early as we can without being arrogant. We should be. That's what we should be doing. And good. The other game ended in a draw. Is that good? It is if you want to top the group. So
if you want to top the group, yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So PSV and Bodo Glimt. I'm sure that pronunciation's spot on. They drew. So we're home to PSV next Thursday.
They'll all be tough games, because what we've got to do now is manage the squad. It's not a case of literally changing every player. And I think also in terms of the opposition, Zurich were the lowest ranked of the 3 teams today. They came out of pot 4 or whatever it was, and they looked organised.
But their start to the season hasn't been great. They've got 2 points from the opening 7 games.
So this is a bit of a free hit for them, and there could be other teams out there with a similar sort of situation, and we need to be sharp to that, because a more clinical team, a more clinical opposition would have made advantage of our poor start and our openness to the counter, later on. And we're away to Brentford on the Sunday after the PSV game, so there's not a lot of travel involved there, but that would be a tough game. Brentford away. Yeah. Brentford are showing themselves to be a really, really good team.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I think we park Arsenal currently for the moment. What about Chelsea appointing Graham Potter? What's your
If
thoughts
you're
on
Potter,
that?
I mean, Potter's taken it. He obviously is backing himself. I'm not sure it's one I would have gone for if I was him.
I completely agree.
I
Why
think
not?
enough teams, including the national side, would have been interested in him had he seen the season through with Brighton. Unless he knows, a bit like last year, where start well, but would Brighton be able to build on such a good start going forward? Will that team fade as it becomes stretched? You know, how deep is their squad in terms of the quality and what he can achieve with them? You know, are they likely to dip into the transfer market in January and reinforce or look to the future if they were to sell one or two players? You just don't know. At the same time, however many million it is compensation for Brighton, I mean, that's Brighton is such a healthy club, I think at the minute is the way to put it. But that's been built around Potter. You know, where do Brighton go next? I think it's a great appointment for Chelsea if they back him, if they let him do what he's been doing.
What you just said there. Not if they back him, they'll back him in terms of they'll spend money on the squad. But the key bit is if they let him do what he does.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, he's come from Östersunds and Swansea and then Brighton, where you assume that position as manager or head coach has more influence throughout the whole club, you know, in terms of recruitment, in terms of academy, in terms of money and all those sorts of things, will have more of a say. Not a complete say, but more of a say. You get to a behemoth like Chelsea, you know, international, world-renowned, European Cup winning team, it's a different kettle of fish.
Especially with this new owner as well, who seems to want his finger in every single
Owner
Chelsea
/ sporting
pie.
director.
Yeah. So how much? And so your Potter, are you strong enough to stand up to him when you don't agree with something, knowing that Tuchel did probably something similar? The rumours are one of the reasons they fell out was over Ronaldo, that Bowley wanted Ronaldo and Tuchel said no, he'd disrupt the dressing room, and that was one of quite a few falling outs they had. That would be a red flag for me.
Why would he want Ronaldo?
Because but I know why Tuchel was absolutely right not wanting Ronaldo.
I agree with Tuchel. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but but that's the whole thing. It's like an ego trip. He's basically done all the deals himself. It's been quite scattergun. They've paid over the odds for, I mean, maybe not Sterling over the odds, but that deal was already in the pipeline. You think, he's paying over the odds for a lot of players. There doesn't seem to be much rhyme nor reason to it. And there are stories out about he's dining out with all the top agents, and it's like he's like a new toy, and he's excited by it. And he's loving it. But if Tuchel couldn't, I spoke to a Chelsea fan today, and he said Tuchel was the best man for the job, and we've just sacked him. You've got, is Potter strong enough to stand up to him, and is Potter strong enough to handle a dressing room that's now got a lot of international winners? You know, it's different to Östersund and Swansea and Brighton. Potter went into those clubs perhaps as a bigger personality, perhaps, in relation to the club.
Yeah.
Whereas he's going into Chelsea, and I mean, look, I think like someone else messaged me and said he should, or tweeted, I can't remember, saying that he should have waited 2 weeks and got the Liverpool job. And actually, there's an element of truth in that, because if we were sitting here talking about Potter going to take over the Liverpool job, that's a much better fit, I think, for club and personality.
Yeah.
But Chelsea's a basket case. Like, sacking Tuchel 1 week after the transfer window closes, after having spent £255 million in it, is idiocy. There's not, so it just, why would you? I mean, it could ruin his career.
What, Tuchel?
Potter. It could ruin Potter's, like, it could really put a black mark against it. Although people might be slightly more understanding because it is Chelsea, and Tuchel took that team from mid-table mediocrity under Lampard to European Cup winners in a matter of months.
It is noticeable, the trend, when managers of less successful clubs, let's put it like that, maybe smaller clubs with smaller budgets, smaller fan bases, and all those sorts of things, when they do step up to a club that has maybe that bigger pedigree, I'm trying not to be patronising and whatever, but we know what we mean. The first job has to go well. If the first job goes well, you're now on the merry-go-round because other big clubs will want you. And there's no limit to where you could end up. If it doesn't go well, you become Nuno Espirito Santo.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep with the Spurs connection there you've just mentioned, because to back up what you've just said, Pochettino went from Southampton to Tottenham. And although he didn't win anything, it was widely regarded as a successful manager. Like they got Champions League regularly, played very good football. I want to say again, they didn't win anything.
Well, but similar with Arteta, although Arteta's won the FA Cup.
FA Cup, yes.
Yeah.
And so
Pochettino.
So Pochettino got the PSG job, and he's not in work now. And I think Pochettino would have probably been a better fit for Chelsea, to be fair. But then, it's a real. I mean, I don't know what your school's like in terms of, but there were kids walking past me at break time, who I barely knew, saying, "Sir, Chelsea have sacked Tuchel." Not Chelsea fans. They were like, nobody saw. I didn't see that coming, I must admit. I know that they'd lost in Europe to Zagreb, and I
think the last couple of post-match interviews he's given made me think that I'm not sure where this goes, because, like you say, the transfer window's just shut, and the last two games that haven't gone particularly well, he's come out afterwards and said players lack fight, effort, and all those sorts of things. And I'm like, well, you've got nowhere to go now. These are the players you've got. Yes, you could be trying to motivate them, show me wrong, but you don't do that to the cameras, surely.
Yeah.
That creates such a negative atmosphere that you might have to go. It's a bit Scott Parker at Bournemouth. He's not getting sacked because they lost 9-0 to Liverpool.
It's what he's saying.
What he said after. It's the fact that he's like, these players aren't equipped enough.
Even though he was absolutely right.
He's right. Yeah,
they got like two or three free transfers, whereas Tuchel, they spent 250 million. So I have a bit more empathy for Scott Parker.
Yes, but at the same time, Scott Parker knew what the deal was. The owner's been very upfront in that, no, we need to invest in training facilities and build the club rather than the team for now, because they know Bournemouth are punching above their weight as a Premier League team.
But Bournemouth will be going back down again.
They probably will, but actually, look at the comeback against Forest. There's spirit there, and
there is.
They'll get a few results here and there.
Forest will probably join them.
Well, if they're as naive as they were against Bournemouth, then they probably will. And
to reinforce the sense that Bournemouth are doing it the right way, I hope Forest have got a lot of relegation clauses into those contracts. Otherwise, they're going out of business. I've just looked.
Well, they'll just sell them to Olympiacos.
True.
It's the same owner.
Yeah. Man United are losing 1-0 at home to Sociedad.
Yes.
10 minutes to go. And their starting lineup was De Gea in goal.
Strong.
Dalot at right back, Malacia at left back, Maguire and Lindelof in the middle. Sorry. Casemiro and Eriksen centre midfield. Who's Dos Santos? Is that Is that Anthony?
Oh, for United?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's Anthony.
Yeah.
Do you know what number he was? 21. Yeah, I think that's Anthony. So
No,
he
I thought
started
he was lower
Fred, Elanga, and Ronaldo up front. So Martinez has come on, Fernandez has come on, Sancho's come on, and who's Garnacho? I have no idea.
New signing.
So it's where are we at now? 80
minutes.
It still says 80 minutes, right? How are West Ham doing? West Ham were losing 1-0 at home last I checked.
Oh, really?
That's in the conference thing anyway.
They're winning 2-1.
Oh, they're winning 2-1.
They were losing.
Right. So actually, I don't know. I've not looked at the Europa League teams. Who are as in potential? So you've got Monaco, Olympiacos, Nantes, Lazio, 1-4-1 or winning 4-1.
Olympiacos.
So looking at that,
Monaco,
Betis. You're looking at those teams, and this Manchester United are the main, right, and Lazio.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then whoever drops out of the Champions League. Yeah, whoever drops out of the Champions League.
That's always the bit that irks me.
Well, it does, because we've been suckered twice by that. Chelsea and Atletico Madrid in consecutive seasons dropped out of the Champions League and won the Europa League by knocking us out in the semis and the final. So I'm not bitter. Not bitter. So the Chelsea. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see who Chelsea got at the weekend. Actually, let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the weekend fixtures if they go ahead. Chelsea play at Fulham.
Oh, lovely derby. Fulham could be playing them at either just the right time or just the wrong time. But Fulham also look good as well. You know, there's no denying that they've made a brilliant start to the season. So the only thing, obviously, is that classic football cliche of a new manager bounce. I don't know if Potter will be in the dugout at the weekend. I assume so. And the Chelsea players, one would have thought, will be, you know, putting in a shift, raising their game for this new up-and-coming manager who's the sort of talk of the town. I mean, Potter is a great coach. There's no denying that. What he's done at every club so far has just been really, really impressive. But like we say, Chelsea is a slightly different beast, and it's whether the owner can allow him to do what he needs to do. Fingers crossed, as an Arsenal fan, he doesn't, and that they, don't really trouble the top four too much, which would be ideal. Holly's disappeared again, so we'll be back in a second, where we can then hopefully finish off the final fixtures. Eventually, he's going to get to Man City and Tottenham, and that is a humdinger of a match, which I will definitely be watching with great interest. I'm hoping Haaland shows Kane why they waited. Hello.
Seems to happen 3 times each session now. You should be paid extra for this.
3 times, yeah. I'll put overtime in.
Overtime in, yeah.
Something I can't do in my normal job. Doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't know what you heard me say. Well, I was going to go through the fixtures. Chelsea play at Fulham on.
I talked about Chelsea Fulham. I talked about how good Fulham have been at the start of the season, but new manager bounce and all those cliches.
They were a bit disappointing against Spurs last time out. Fulham, I thought they could have done a bit better there. Okay, I'm having to. Oh, sneeze! Bless me, indeed. I'm having to include Liverpool for the time being as a rival, as a competitor now for top 4 because of their form. Liverpool home to Wolves.
They're going to batter Wolves.
That would be really interesting, isn't it? But Wolves are the most obstinate defensive team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Has Diego Costa passed his medical? That's the question.
Oh, could you imagine Diego Costa versus that Liverpool defence?
I'm worried about Diego Costa against Arsenal. Forget about Liverpool. We've been scarred by him, literally, and
I think it says a lot about the Premier League that in their whole time there, Diego Costa and Luis Suarez never got a red card, but Juan Mata did.
That's not right. Because that Juan Mata, that notorious hatchet man in midfield. So Liverpool, you think? I'm not sure Liverpool will batter Wolves. I think it's going to be a continuation of Liverpool's poor form, just because Wolves are so obstinate.
They're up and down. I can see them winning comfortably.
But they played so badly. They played so badly against Lazio. Was it Lazio? Napoli, sorry.
I didn't watch it. I was watching the scum on the other side because I was really hoping that Tavares and Guendouzi would do the business. And to be honest, they were until the other man sent off. But everything I read about Liverpool.
I was watching that great goals show on BT Sport with James Richardson. I love it. So I was watching that. So that'd be interesting. I think Liverpool will struggle against Wolves, and I think it will be a continuation. It's the slippery slope, the spiral, whatever you want to call it, of the end of Klopp's reign at Liverpool. They look absolutely shot.
Are you going to talk about a 7-year itch?
I'm not, but it's a thing. It's the third time round.
But come on, if you were a manager who had a 7-year itch in modern football, that's bloody
brilliant.
Amazing.
Yes, no, for sure. I'd take that all day long.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Right, but then the interesting one on the Saturday, Spurs travel to City.
Yeah. Now, do you know what's annoying me about Spurs? They've got Conte ball down to a T. Sit back, soak up pressure, hit on the break, then defend the lead and win the game. Their record, the commentator was going through it last night on the Marseille game. Their record, it's going under the radar. No one's really talking about it. It's frightening. I think they haven't lost in something like 13 games going back to last season. They've turned the new stadium into a bit of a fortress. And I, for one, am dead against it. It is just awful that what they're doing. And I thought Richarlison, for whatever they paid, 50, 60 million, was well over the odds. But he is looking like it's... Again, his emotion after scoring in the Champions League yesterday shows that, because he's always been portrayed as a bit of an horrible git, and actually, he looks like he's doing the business. And again, I can't stand it. It needs to stop. And I'm really hoping that Man City, who had a bit of a comfortable win against Sevilla, are the team to put them to bed. But
well, they owe them because they lost both games last season to Spurs.
That's the thing. Tottenham are a bit of a hoodoo team for them. You know, Guardiola's had a few dodgy results against them, not least in the bloody Champions League.
And you can guarantee that he'll overthink Sunday completely.
Well, he shouldn't do, because the team he's picking is a winning team. You know,
except they drew against Villa last time out.
Which you would hope is all he needs to add to motivation to say, right, you drew against Villa last time. These guys are better than that. Come on.
No, Stefan, I need to pull you up here. Shouldn't we really be wanting a draw so both teams drop points?
No, I need Tottenham to lose. I need losing to become something that they have to process.
Yeah, I'm joking. Yes.
All right. Okay.
Definitely, I want City to hammer Spurs 10-0.
Oh, this is the thing. Did you see any of Man City Sevilla?
No.
Because I had a bit of an argument with a brand new year 7 at our school. So it's going to be about 11 years old. And okay. I dropped football into the conversation somewhere, as we're prone to do. And he just went, "Oh, Haaland only scores tap-ins." I was like, right, shut up. You obviously don't know what you're talking about, because yes, his goals might be from only 5 yards away. He's got to get there though, hasn't he? He's got to anticipate the cross and the pass, and he's got to have the speed and the technique to get on the end of it. That Sevilla goal, Haaland sees what De Bruyne is going to do so early and he runs so quickly. Look, it's only over a few yards, but he makes himself in that position, and then he kind of awkwardly takes it on in the air and puts it in. The movement, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. He's already breaking Premier League records.
Exactly.
That was someone did the number of games it took all the other top Premier League strikers to get to 10 goals. And like, I think Henry was nearly triple, like the number of games. It's like,
because not only does he have the pace and the technique,
he's so powerful.
The strength, the power he has. Yeah. Defenders just bounce off and they don't know what to do with him.
He's an absolute beast.
He's an absolute cheat code.
But I tell you what,
not fair.
I tell you what, because they are becoming very reliant upon him, and he hasn't got the best injury record. Sure. And the Premier League is more physical than the Bundesliga. So it'll be interesting to see how they cope with his inevitable absence. If he doesn't get injured, they've won the league comfortably.
My heart will bleed for them when they have to turn to Mahrez and Gundogan and Bernardo Silva.
Haven't they got that Alvarez who scored 6 goals in one game or something? So
he looks great.
They'll be okay.
It's just insane.
Right. So we hope Chelsea drop points at Fulham, but we suspect a new manager bounce might see them over the line. We disagree on Liverpool Wolves. You think Liverpool will hammer Wolves. I think they'll struggle, and I think it'll end in a draw. Or it might be a late win again for Liverpool, like the last time they played at Anfield against Newcastle. And we both agree that we want Man City to absolutely destroy Tottenham.
Right, here we go then. We both want Man City to destroy Tottenham.
I think they will. I think last season's 2 defeats will see to that.
I think narrow victory, from which, a bit like last week with us and Man United, both teams come out with credit. Right. And that'll annoy me even more.
If such a thing were possible, eh?
Yeah, I know, right?
Right,
a week of it for that.
Sunday. United go to Palace in the 4:30 game. Vieira.
Well, Palace are hard to beat, but they're doing that thing of playing quite well, but
and losing,
necessarily getting results.
Yeah,
that's what worries me, and I think United will probably sneak a win there as well. Yeah,
I don't know.
What I want to happen is I want Palace to try and out United. So play deep and try and spring on the counter, because they've got Eze, they've got the other player that was popping in crosses against us. I can't remember his name.
And in fairness, that's what Palace will do. You'd think.
Yeah. But Varane and Martinez are, better. So they'll probably second minute of injury time, still 1-0 Sociedad.
I was just looking that up. Yeah, You're on the BBC. Yeah. So the game's probably finished. The BBC is normally about two minutes behind.
Oh, sure.
I'll check it.
They have to gauge the mood, don't they?
Hang
on. And then West Ham, 3-1 now.
Antonio
gets a goal. He hasn't.
So the Man United game has finished because it's not on William Hill. So I don't know what the score is though.
I'm going to keep refreshing. This is like deadline day all over again. Look, I'm not worried about what Man United do in Europa League yet. I'm still a bit annoyed that we made the mistakes that we did last weekend. Look, we've bounced back to a win. That loss wasn't followed by another loss.
Yeah.
It's in a different competition, but that's something.
That's good, but for me, it doesn't quite count.
No, Everton is the big one. Isn't it?
So, we've won...
travelling back from a European fixture.
We've won 6 games out of 7 this season. That's fantastic. So
you'd have taken that.
All day long. I mean, I really wish the one defeat hadn't been against Manchester United, but
Just as a thought exercise, what would you have preferred the other defeat to have been? What would have been the most palatable defeat?
Palace away.
Yeah, Palace away opening day of the season. But I worry if that had happened at the start.
We wouldn't have won the other 6. Yeah.
God, yeah.
Or actually, no, sorry, I said Palace away. Zurich away, obviously.
Yeah, so then we would be full points in the Premier League. Nice.
Yeah.
I see what
And
you did there.
having beaten Manchester United. So
Isn't it nice to imagine things? Oh.
it is, yeah. I imagine us only losing to Man United this entire season.
Okay, good.
I'd even sacrifice losing at home to them if they were the only team that beat us.
I love that. Yeah, we only lose twice and we win
Yeah.
every other game.
Yeah, win, not draw.
Not win, not draw. We don't do draws.
No, it's like Leicester won the league. We were the only team to beat them home and away.
Yeah,
Right,
well,
so,
that's crazy.
Oh,
right, another Thursday night of European football.
So tell me, what's your prediction for Sunday then?
The thing that worries me, we can beat Everton, but what worries me against Liverpool, they looked, the business they'd done in the transfer market just seemed to come to fruition because Cody and Tarkowski at the back made them look a lot more solid.
But Pickford's not playing.
So Olsen comes in. He's still an international keeper. I know it's for Sweden, but yeah, obviously Pickford
No, he's not. I think their third choice keeper's playing.
Oh.
Yeah, because they were allowed to get a special dispensation for another goalkeeper, but they haven't because one of the injuries is only very minor, and I think it's just one game.
Well,
so, but it is a name. But their third choice goalkeeper is a name we know.
Begovic?
I think you might be right. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
either way, the keeper not playing is fine. I mean, they're also not in form. They're not winning games, but they are drawing, so they're going to be hard to beat. And I worry because we were beaten on the counter against United. Gordon, Damari Gray, will have some joy at some point.
Do they have another striker? Because Calvert-Lewin's not.
Calvert-Lewin's out. He's not fit.
Who else do they have?
Well, they've been playing as a false nine. What's his name? The former West Brom striker, South American. Benitez relied on him a lot to hold up the ball. I can't remember his name now. But yeah, he's now available because he had a suspension that hung over from the previous season or something, I think. I can't remember his name now.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So the threat will come, Gray and Gordon are the ones I think that worry me the most. Speed on the counter. If we play too high a line and with the naivety we did against United, then they could have some joy.
Yeah, they're not as they don't carry as much threat as United's front line do.
No.
But again, I as with the United game, it wouldn't have mattered what United did if we looked after our business down the other end. If we'd been more clinical,
we've got to be more ruthless. We've got to put some away some of these chances. We're having lots of chances. They've got to go in. We've got to get that 2-3 goal cushion to put games to bed, to control things more. Yeah, could be a while before we see it.
So what's your prediction?
I'm not doing predictions because I'm too negative.
1-1 you're going to say, aren't you?
No, I always do say 1-1. Everton are the draw masters and we're the team that don't draw, so something will have to give.
We beat them comfortably at home last game of the season, but we
Everton at home is traditionally a bit of a gimme, or it has been. And then away is a bit of a mixed bag. So, historically, we should be there. Begovic, it is Begovic. I just looked at it.
All right.
And then up front, Rondon. But they've just bought Mopé. I forgot all about Mopé.
Oh, him. And he's a sneaky little sod, isn't he? We don't like him.
He's a bit chippy, yeah. He's not a great finisher, but he has scored against us.
And he'll wind us up a little bit as well.
Yeah. But I don't worry about him. He won't bully. And I don't know if he's got the quickest pace in the world, but he'll be able to feed off, Gordon and Gray. And that's the bit that worries me.
But I still think they'll sit back. They won't commit. They got Idrissa Gueye in the middle. They got Anana, this huge guy.
He's a bit of a live wire. He looks interesting as a player.
So I know the Evertonians feel a lot more confident now than they did at the after the first couple of games. But
they should.
But they've drawn 4 in a row, I think. But I'm delighted Pickford's not playing because he was fantastic against Liverpool, and that will unsettle the defence. It can only unsettle the defence. It'd be like us playing Turner in goal. How did Turner play today? I didn't see the first half, obviously.
Well, he was a bit let down by Gabriel gave him a back pass, which wasn't great, that he had to deal with, and then did lose possession. And from the resulting corner, came a long way towards and beyond the back post to parry it away. When a simple call from one of the defenders, he could have either left it or tried to catch it because he wasn't being troubled by a Zurich player. So apart from that one moment, he was fine.
Okay, so that's a decent debut, really, because
albeit against Zurich,
but that's fine. That's what you want.
Yeah.
That's why we always said from before the season started that Vieira and Marquinhos and Turner will be regulars in the Europa League to begin with. Marquinhos is. There's a reason we didn't let him go out on loan.
Oh, he looks brilliant.
A goal and an assist on your debut.
Quick, took his goal really well because it was a great cross from Nketiah, but it was a sort of bouncing, rising ball that he took with great technique. And he looked really emotional when he scored. He was really, really passionate about it. Because
all he's got to do is just look over the other side of the pitch to see his future. Martinelli played every minute so far this season. He's playing really well. We haven't got anyone. Well, we have, but Smith Rowe. I haven't read anything. I haven't seen anything. I wonder how long are they saying he's out for?
I don't know. I haven't said.
Right. Okay. We're 47 minutes. I think we've done well considering there wasn't much to talk about the Zurich Arsenal game. It was a pretty nondescript 2-1 win. It happened. We expected it to win. We wanted to win. We kind of expected to win. We did win. The minutiae of the game will have forgotten about come Sunday.
It is about the details at the minute. That's what Man United performance was about, and even some of the bits today. It's just about getting those details. The overall feeling is generally, on top, and things are starting to happen. But we just keep ironing out those.
Cool. So on to Everton on Sunday if the games go ahead. We shall catch up. Well, I'll see you at the game. And it's 2 o'clock kickoff, isn't it?
2 o'clock kickoff, so we might be able to do Sunday evening. So
we're back on Sunday evening. I'm going to try and see if I can remember how to publish this podcast on YouTube.
Cool.
I'm not holding out a lot of hope. There were a lot of steps involved, and I'm going to try it and approach it logically, which is probably where things will fall apart. But anyway, cool. Good to catch up. Catch you on Sunday. Take care. Bye.
See you later.